United States laws, right? Okay, there is a law that a country like France that says that drinking beer is not good in the United States. It's illegal in the United States. France is saying that. What do you care about what France is saying? It's not illegal in the United States, period, because the law says so. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world says. That's not how the legal.
So they're actually labeled illegal settlements.
Yeah, but you can say whatever. Lisa, you can say that.
So what you're saying is law doesn't matter to the Zionists, and the U.S. condemning the legal settlements doesn't matter.
Gosh. All right.
Yeah.
The
fact
that
ultimately
exists is a blessing for the Palestinian people. It's a gift. They shouldn't have the West Bank.
This dude.
I agree.
Yeah, so laws sometimes don't matter. Irrational laws don't matter.
Forget the war. Maybe it was 1967. Israel conquered Egypt. They could have taken all the land. That's traditional. That's traditionally what happens in war. But they didn't. They just wanted Israel. That's all they wanted.
And Daddy Britain won the war.
The West Bank is a present. It wasn't Daddy Britain. Israel is.
It was. Look at your military. Where's all the weaponry from? 1967.
Israel's military is the best military
because of war.
Yes. Okay, all right, okay, it's true. We are moving forward. All right. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you for.
We're moving forward. It's good. He was respectful. He wasn't yelling, and that's how I like it. And we were able to make the distinction between Judaism and Zionism. I know there's people who disagree with me. I would say that my opinion on this is actually the more popular opinion in the Orthodox world. However, on TikTok, there aren't too many Orthodox people, so they think like if you're not a religious Zionist, you're a heretic, and it's not even true. I don't even know how this guy Litvin sounds like such a Zionist when like the Chabad position is a non-Zionist position, by the way. I mean, what the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that no shaliach should ever serve in the Knesset, although he does believe that you shouldn't give the land back. He would hold like his father-in-law held, which is an anti-Zionist position. The question is, what do you do after 1948? And this is something that it's a big question. So I think that we shouldn't give the land back. But I do make the separation between shul, between synagogue and state. That's it.
I have a kasha.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the protesting in the schools? I heard there was some like beatings and stuff. Do you think it's a Chilul Hashem? Is it Goyim doing the beatings?
Honestly, I wish it was Jews that were doing it. There's a group that I was the vice president of. What?
I said chas v'shalom.
Why?
You shouldn't do that.
Why?
I don't think Hashem would condone that.
All right, so then you're against Meir Kahana, and you're against, like many guys who felt that Jews shouldn't be passive. When they're out to harm you, you wake up early, right? The whole notion of a rodef, like if someone's going to harm you, you wake up early and harm them first. This idea that we only attack him from a reactionary perspective, I don't think that's like a winning mindset. I mean, chas v'shalom. I mean, are you?
I don't think we want to bring war here to all these American people. It's not good.
Well, I mean, I disagree.
We're outnumbered.
Like I'm a January 6th guy too, so I like a good fight against Antifa. That being said, I mean, I'll give you a different perspective. A lot of these guys, this guy's Shy, I can't remember his last name, but the assistant business professor in Columbia University that was first locked out. There's footage of him organizing BLM George Floyd riots, right? Like in protests. A lot of these kids, Jewish kids in these campuses that are being mistreated now were part of the movement, the left-wing Antifa movement, right? That defunded police and burned down cities. I have seen groups of Antifa waving modified Antifa flags with the Star of David. We're overly represented in left-wing movements, and now it's really the chickens coming home to roost. Unfortunately, now we're realizing that the left is not our friends, even though we've spent so much time and effort nurturing the left and enabling the left, right? But now that we're crying because it's harming us, when they were harming Trump supporters and burning down cities, it was okay. Now, I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm extremely on the right. And for some reason, Jews aren't making this distinction. I think that we should realize that we gave birth to this Frankenstein that now has come to harm us. I mean, similar to communism and every other ism that at the end ended us like biting us in the butt. This is another example that American Jews haven't learned anything after World War II, unfortunately. What do you think, David?
I think it's a good explanation. I didn't know there was so much violence. I haven't looked into it. I don't like to.
Yeah, no, the violence doesn't bother me. I mean, are you like a hippie? I mean, are you like Karabakh, Batayan? What?
My family's Lubavitch. I'm in the middle, I guess. I'm pretty.
I mean, Lubavitch are pretty violent. I mean, Lubavitch versus Satmar, right?
Of course. My father's crazy. He's like, just like.
There were wars between Satmar and Lubavitch. I mean, Satmar were actually crazier. I mean, they took a Lubavitch and they shaved his beard. Have you heard about this?
Wait, is that war still going on now?
No, it's past. Also, there was a war like between the two big like factions of Satmar, the students of Rav Aaron on like Rav Aaron and Rav Zalman Leib. And like every time at the Kever of like Rav Yoelish, they would like go at it. But yeah, no, Lubavitch, I mean, heck, there were riots in Crown Heights for a while. I mean, it wasn't like riots that Lubavitch started, but there was a little girl who got run over by a Jewish guy. Which was it? It wasn't it wasn't on purpose. It was by mistake. But I mean, it set up riots with the blacks there, and Jesse Jackson.
They also were fighting about all the Hasidim were fighting about the Eruv. Remember that?
In New York?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, well, the Hasidim, like, have you ever been to Kikar Shabas?
Tumchei Shabas? Where is that?
No. Well, so Kikar Shabas is in Meir Sharim. So Meir Sharim, in this place, Kikar Shabas is when they burn all the trash cans, and then the army has to go in, and the army goes in like mamish with women soldiers because they know Hasidim are scared of women, right? And the Hasidim will like throw like bus benches at them, because they don't want to touch them. They're so frum. But they basically burn down their own neighborhoods because there's
so stupid.
It's interesting. Meir Sharim is a city or a town in Israel that doesn't have trash pickup services. This is why there's always like trash all over the place. They have to privately like throw their trash out. This is why there's always stuff to throw around and burn around there. Most people don't know that. But
I thought Mesh isn't it right next to Yerushalayim?
Yeah, no, Meir Sharim is in Yerushalayim, modern day Yerushalayim, right? It's next to Geula, Shimon HaTzadik or Shmuel Navi, like that little area. Yeah, so that's where the violent Jews live. Also,
they throw rocks and stuff. They throw rocks at my friends.
Right, on Shabbos, they'll throw rocks.
Yeah, we wear shorts and stuff.
Yeah, no, but the ones who throw rocks are the kids. I mean, because you can't throw a rock on Shabbos, even though, like, if you set it aside on Shabbos, it's still an issue.
Well, they do it like from like the room.
So there was a girl I was dating 25 years ago who was like a hippie girl, like the spot style, like flowy dresses, and they don't allow that in Meir Sharim. Like if you walk down Meir Sharim with like a colorful dress, they'll throw eggs at you because it's considered not tznius. You have to be pencil skirts, long, and stockings. Most people don't know anything about Jewish life. They think that TikTok represents Jewish life. It's so colorful and different, and they all don't get along. It's not this whole notion, because people attack me because I tell the truth and then I give my opinion. But they'll say you're causing disunity in the Jewish world. We need achdus. There's no achdus in the Jewish world. Okay, like in Israel, religious people dislike secular people and vice versa, and it hasn't gotten any better. But that being said, I'm trying to de-ethnize the religion by encouraging people to become Jewish. What do you think about that, David? I know that goes against completely like the Tanya.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about it before. It makes me raise my eyebrow a little bit. I don't know, but I get it. It's necessary.
No, but the world would be better. Like we had more from Jews, right? Like ethical, nice from Jews, not the jerky ones.
Yes, I agree.
For
100%.
sure.
Well, everyone's ignorant.
Like a YY Jacobson or like a Manis Friedman. These guys seem like nice guys. Like we had more of these guys walking down the street, versus like I don't know, like a George Soros or give me a left wing Jew, the Schumer and all these people who misrepresent us.
Bernie Sanders.
There we go.
Manis Friedman and YY Jacobson are both my great uncles. They're not great uncles. I think great uncles.
Yes. I'm telling you. I mean, that's like every shachan wants to hear that. It's interesting. Dating in Israel, It's the coolest thing. If you walked on Mare Sharm, like, you could see a girl who looks like a model married to some guy who's got like 3 eyeballs. You know, it's because they've leveled the playing field. That if you're like a Ben Torah, if you learn Torah, like you could marry like the son or the son, like the daughter of someone just because of your learning. You know, and these girls don't know. They're like, you want me to marry him, Tati? For sure. Whatever you say, Tati. In the very, very frum world, right? I mean, I'm not talking about like a jappy girl who makes it, you know, who's difficult. You know, and it's quite, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, there's girls that are model grade in the Haredi world who don't even know it, which is nice, by the way, right? I mean, it's not like they don't know who Andrew Tate is. They don't know what a Bugatti is, right? I mean, not that there's a place to park a Bugatti in Mare Sharm. There's no parking spots there that I know of.
There's no parking there.
But, yeah, anyways, if you're looking for a wife, go to Israel.
Me?
No, well, you too. Like, go to Israel.
No, I'm not looking for a wife.
Is there an excess of women? Are you looking for a husband? I'm just checking. Just checking. No, there's some people who come up here with a very low voice, you know, and they're women. So, yeah. Anyways, welcome, Cactus.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
Are you Jewish, Cactus?
No, I'm not.
I'll tell you the secret on how to bless the Jewish people. All right. The Jewish people don't need your money and they don't need your sympathy. They need you. The best way to bless Israel is by becoming Israel yourself. Assuming you're sincere and you really, you know, you have something to offer to the Jewish people, join the Jewish people because we need you. Now, that's a unique message, huh? Now that's pretty unique. I don't think anyone has ever heard that. They're like, you want me?
Yeah, I mean, like in general, Jewish people don't consider it, don't like advocate for people to convert.
I know, right? And it's weird. It's weird. But we used to, by the way. Historians talk about it. The Talmud talks about it. The New Testament talks about it. Jews used to proselytize. There's nothing in Judaism that prohibits proselytizing. Nothing. I've been doing this long enough. I'm waiting for an actual challenge. Nothing. It's a custom. The Emperor Hadrian outlawed the practice, and he said anyone caught converting or seeking converts would be unalived. And our host countries didn't allow it. And then Kabbalah discouraged conversion in general because it taught that you can't really convert to Judaism. If you convert, it's because you were Jewish all along, right? And it teaches that Gentiles, like if you're Lubavitch David, I think we spoke about the whole, you know, Helek Elokam Imal Mamish, that Jews are special and Gentiles are not. So this is why people think that we don't proselytize. There's no obligation. There's no obligation for Jews to encourage anyone to consider to look into Judaism. For sure, there's no obligation, but it's not prohibited. Okay, this is why the banner says that it might be for you. It might not be for you, you know. But if you're looking for an ethical outlet, consider Judaism.
And also, like, I feel like also like Judaism also should be like very easy for people to convert, because I feel like there's a barrier. A lot of people have a barrier. Whenever I talk about the Judaism as a religion, they talk about there's a barrier of converting to Judaism because it takes time and blah blah. So a lot of people say that. You know, like give you an example. The difference is like, let's say like if people want to convert to Islam, they will just stay 3 words and then they convert to Islam. But if they're Christian, they'll usually baptize. If I'm correct, they just baptize and you become Christian. But Judaism, I heard they went a lot of process of have to study a lot of stuff before you become a Judaism, which I feel like it maybe that's the barrier. That's why the Jews community as religious hasn't grown much in the past 100 years.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, I'm not speaking for every Jewish person out there. There's a lot of rabbis who disagree with me. They won't come up here and explain why they disagree, but just so you know, there's the majority of people would disagree with me. I try to debate these people as much as I can. The truth is, there's nothing special about being Jewish. Okay, it's what you do with your Judaism, right? You can be born Jewish. Jerry Seinfeld's Jewish. Karl Marx is Jewish, but they never did anything with it. Right? There's a Magen Avraham for the from people out there who says this is why there's a bracha shelo asani goy, that there's no like I mean, thank God for not making me a Gentile. But there's no bracha like thanking God for making me Jewish, because you have to work on truly becoming Jewish, even though you happen to be born Jewish. It doesn't come easy. So this is why conversion shouldn't take long. If it's easy to be born into the system, it should be easy to convert, right? Why? Because being Jewish doesn't mean anything. It's what you do with your Jewishness. Now that you're Jewish, what are you going to do, right? Are you going to learn Torah? Are you going to do acts of kindness in the name of Judaism, right? Live a Jewish life. That, people could be born Jewish. It means that it doesn't matter how many Jews you have. It's how many people actually live out their religions. But sometimes when you make it difficult to convert, it pushes people away to such an extent that they become Muslim. I met so many people that, they've been discouraged from becoming Jewish. Instead of saying, it's going to take a year, just wait. And like most people will wait a year, but sometimes they won't even give you a time, and you can't date. That you can't date, you can't do anything but wait. And then how many times, like, have you? By the way, I converted to Judaism 25 years ago. How many times was I at the synagogue and they counted me in the minyan by mistake, and I have to say, guys, I'm not Jewish yet. I'm not Jewish. I'm 46 now. I converted 25 years ago. And it's frustrating and it's quite emasculating. Like if you're converting with the family, right? I converted when I was single, but like your wife's there, like viewing her husband as a second-class citizen, and it's like, my gosh, it's. What do you think, Moshe?
I think it's ridiculous. The whole thing. It's partially true. The process of the conversion is ridiculous. If you want to do RCA, of course. If you want to do whatever you want, it's very easy. It's also a myth. It's half and half. It's not that every conversion is difficult. Because if you go to, Rav Kamenetsky, his students are not going to be pushing you out, which I really think they want. It's just this political nonsense. If you want to go to Israel, make Aliyah, for sure, you have to do RCA. Otherwise, you're a Nachri.
Yeah.
Which, if you go by yourself with a tourist visa, and you go to the shul of, Rav Kanievsky, everybody's going to treat you as a Jew.
Yeah. No one asked you in Israel if you're Jewish, by the way. I lived in Israel for 5 years. No one asked me. They assume you're Jewish, especially clearly if you're dressed like a priest or something, or, but if you just walk into a shul and then like you answer like amen to the brachas and you say Kedusha, they're going to assume you're Jewish. The halacha is.
Also here, the only problem is when you want to come to become a member. If you go to any shul here in America and walk in and put your tefillin and your talis, and there are 9 people and they see you coming in, they're not going to ask you, are you a Jew? If you start putting your talis and your tefillin, they start davening. That's it.
Unless you're Chabad. For some reason, Chabad always does that slick thing. They're like, Yisrael, Levi, Cohen, and you're like, get out of my face. Yeah. So,
but Chabad doesn't care about daily minyan.
They count people who machal Shabas like in a minyan. They wouldn't be now. Okay, so true. There's Chabad for Chabad and Chabad for everyone else. It's not like the Chabad for everyone else. Like they wouldn't have a minyan if they didn't count people who drive on Shabbos. But
what I say is like if they don't have a minyan in the place where they are, they don't care. They're not going to be looking for people in the middle of the street asking like, "Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish?" In Israel, you see that.
Oh, really? That's weird. Yeah. I've always lived in a community where there's always
there's no crazy reason. You just go outside. Somebody's passing for sure.
Yeah, but if someone has to
I live in LA, people walk outside all the time.
Yeah,
trying to grab you all day.
No, in terms of Kaddish, because now the only reason people go to shul is to say Kaddish, by the way, which is a new thing. Kadisha Tum, was never like a thing in the old days, right? I think it was invented by the Or Zarua or something. It's not in the Talmud. I've seen him in the street trying to weigh people down. Like in my community, I live in a pretty large Jewish community, so it's rare not to find a minyan or someone will call somebody. But davening with a minyan, I think it's overrated. You could daven alone, but it's nice to be part of a community. But so like Alpi Halacha, the only time you're supposed to ask someone if they converted is if they come to get married, because at that point, it affects someone else. There are no consequences for counting a Gentile in a minyan. There are no actual consequences. There's a consequence, to marrying a goy and having a kid and, like manzerut and all this stuff. There are consequences for that. You accidentally count, heck, a woman and a minyan, like nothing changes, right? I was mentioning last time there's a Mordechai that says that you could count a woman, like if you needed one, like just like there's a halacha that says that you could count a katan with the Sefer Torah, like a kid holding like a chumash, like if you're missing one. Yeah, so I remember I was in Denver with my friend Yosef. My friend, everybody knows my friend Yosef, the Yemenite, the like Louisiana guy.
Oh, Michael.
Yeah, I mean Yosef Michael. And they asked him, I was in this show in Denver, and they asked him, "Are you Jewish?" And he's like, "It's okay. I'm not looking to get married." I mean, you can imagine why he's not looking to get married, the guy. You know, but he. That's the response. That's the halakhic response. You're not supposed to ask people, "Are you Jewish?" or "You're Jewish," because it's stupid. It's just you're trying to like ridicule the guy. Now, secretly, like if you want to, I mean, someone to be Masada Kedushin, you have to explain. I mean, give a chazak, and I'll tell you, most Jews, by the way, today cannot prove they're Jewish. This is why like a lot of Jews can't even make aliyah. As someone who made aliyah, right, and knew other people, because I made aliyah under different auspices. I mean, I made aliyah as a convert, but someone like who claims to be Jewish has to bring a ketubah, right, or like some chazaka, meaning they need someone to vouch for them that they're Jewish, right? Now, it's a bit racist to assume. I mean, it's not like in America that if you look Jewish, they won't ask you anything. The state of Israel actually validates to see if you're Jewish, right? But it could be by your father because the state of Israel recognizes, paternal lineage.
I got a question about something you just said. So, like, if you like marry a goy, right? So, like, what if a Jewish person, like a Jewish man, marries a non-Jewish woman, right? And they have a kid together, and then she converts later on. Does that kid just automatically turn Jewish, or does that kid have to go through a conversion now?
He has to convert. He has to convert, but he has a weird status of Zer Yisrael. That means his father's Jewish. It's a weird, the idea of being called Ben Avraham is a minhag, by the way. That like all converts have the name, like whatever. I'm Usher, so I'm like Usher Ben Avraham. Some people will throw Avinu or whatever in there. There's no halacha for this. So the question is, could you call that kid like the son of his father? Because his father's Jewish. So, I mean, these are like modern day problems that I don't think they had an issue back then with. Just because.
Wait. What do you mean there's no halacha because of the get? If you're gonna get a get, has to be your Hebrew name and your legal name both there. And if he's a convert, it has to say Ben Avraham.
Oh, well, the ketubah also has a legal name too. Yeah, no, the problem with the ketubah, I don't know about the get. Ben Avraham.
Yeah, the get needs to have. Masach Gittin says it needs to have the name, exactly name, and in the case of a convert, it has to states Ben Avraham. I don't know about the ketubah. I don't remember, but I know the get should have it.
Right
now. Yeah. This is sugya, so for you it's like nothing.
No, I mean, the heck do I know?
It's not Mishnah. I mean, I don't understand.
No, in terms of, I marry people every month, and we have free conversions. Guys, if you want to convert and you don't live in the Jewish communities, I won't convert. I mean, someone who could convert otherwise, come down to South Florida the first Sunday of every month. I'll convert you and I'll marry you and I'll do all that stuff for free, absolutely for free. This is why I filled out hundreds of ketubas before. I've never divorced anyone, by the way. Although I can. There's no such thing as a dayan nowadays. It just doesn't exist. I mean, from a Mishnaic perspective, anyone.
The only thing that you need is like 280.
Right. So you would need, I guess, a sofer stam, which is not an actual position either. I don't know the intrinsic halachas of gittin, but I know that anyone could do it. In terms of you don't need actual smicha to do it. And as someone who's been divorced, I've seen it done. So the way they do it nowadays, they'll have a sofer there. The most
complicated part of gittin is the text itself.
Right. So when they write it out,
that is actually writing it down for learning. That's the problematic part. That's what Masechet Gittin says. That's why it's very difficult to find one, because when you get it, it's like, okay, so it's like a bunch of stuff. But the main thing is you need the city, the name of the guys, and then 280. One that they're going to say and give it to the woman, and that's it. It's very easy.
Or drop it in the vicinity.
What?
Well, so that's a debate by Sephardim and Ashkenazim. So I'm
talking about the Mishnah. What debate?
No, the debate is that Ashkenazim, because the Rabbeinu Gershom believes that the woman has to accept the get. Well, according to the Mishnah, like all you have to do is throw it in her vicinity. So you could basically pass.
That's machloket, actually. That's machloket.
Do it.
You can throw it in the front yard.
Right.
And
Like
that is
backyard,
a machloket if you throw it. Because what is a machloket? Because she's living in his husband's house. So it's not her house right now until she get divorced. So that's a machloket. But, you know.
So Rabbeinu Gershom made it that if a woman like doesn't accept the get, then the man can't get divorced. That means there's women here. People talk about agunot all the time, but nobody talks about agunim. It's worse for the agunim than it is for the agunot because no one stands up for the men who can't get remarried, Ashkenazi men, because of Rabbeinu Gershom. Not to mention that this cherem is called cherem de Rabbeinu Gershom already expired, but the Ashkenazim still hold by it. That if the woman refuses, and the reason they refuse to get more money, and nobody talks about this, that the guy can't get remarried unless, she pays the girl $1 million to accept a get. So a lot of these guys become Sephardi because by Sephardim, first of all, we still have polygamy in Judaism. And
wait, you know what they use to become Sephardi? To become Sephardi, they use a halacha from the Chatan Sofer that says that you only need a basing of 3 where you resign your customs and start acting with a new custom.
Oh, to be mater neder.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Also, well, they do it to, mainly during Pesach, just so they could stop eating like gebrux or to eat kidneyot. Yeah.
Right.
No, truth be told, you don't need any of that. Like if that was the case, then there wouldn't be Lubavitch, because Lubavitch is new. Right?
Exactly.
Now, or Breslov. I don't know, for some reason, Sephardim are drawn to Breslov more than any other group.
But they're more secular.
Maybe it's weed. No, I'm thinking, well, that's Nanach. Nanachs are. I would say that Nanach is to Breslov what Chabad is to Lubavitch. Because Chabad is not Lubavitch. Right? Now it's indistinguishable, but Chabad.
Wait, Breslov is worse because at least Chabadnikin, they don't tell you, oh, Rosh Hashanah, we have to go to the Oh, Breslovs are totally water.
Who's that? Is that your background? Where is it? Someone's in Walmart.
Okay.
I'm not at Walmart. I just pulled into the gym. It's time for me to go. Good Shabas.
All right, man. Have a good Shabas. I got a Shabas workout.
Wait, but a custom is not an eder.
What's the song that they sing in like in Uman? Yeah, Uman Rosh Hashanah. In Israel, they'll give you free flights to Uman. I've always wanted to take it on, but it's just I don't know. I guess when I would have gone, I would have been single, and I'm like, what am I going to do with a bunch of guys? In some retreat. It just seems boring, and I've been to Meron for Lag BaOmer, which is like really amazing, by the way. Like, and I'm not a Kabbalist, but it's wild.
Wait, do you know the guy? What is the name of this guy, the Breslov guy? Shalom
Arush.
Sabag. No, Shalom Sabag.
I don't know.
He's in Israel. He's a Breslover, and oh my gosh, his videos. He's wearing the tefillin all day long, and he doesn't care if the tefillin is falling from his head. It's like crazy.
But that's the halacha, by the way.
Check it on Google, on YouTube.
Well, the halacha is to wear tefillin all day long.
Yeah, but in a proper way, not the way he's
doing.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
He doesn't care if it's falling.
Yeah, there's a group in the old city called Zilberman. So the Zilberman Yeshiva is like a very rational-based yeshiva. Like, people have an issue with how they educate Jewish kids because they start kids off with Gemara. That means they have no basis. Like in the Jewish world, most Jewish boys don't know Tanakh very well. However, the girls do. The girls know Tanakh in and out, like they know Shulchan Aruch, like the halachas that apply to them. While kids, they start them off with Gemara very early because it's very prestigious. It's very prestigious. How many block Gemara do you have and you're 10 years old, right? That's what the dads care about. While secular Jews care like what university like their kid goes to. How many Gemaras can you recite Baal Peh? That's what So the Zilberman Yeshiva bases their curriculum off Pirkei Avot. There's a section in Pirkei Avot that lays down what a student or the stages of the life of a Jewish male, and in what they should learn and how old they should be when they learn it. Like it says that first you master like the Torah, and then like Nach, and then Mishnayot, and then I think it goes down the line, but it puts like the Chumash and essentially Tanakh at its core. The idea that you're going to be able to build a strong relationship with the God of Israel without having Torah first in your life is a bit absurd. Anyway, so these guys, like the Zilberman guys, also wear tefillin all day long. Which, by the way, like the Vilna Gaon, every time there's a picture of the Vilna Gaon, he has tefillin on because he always wore tefillin all day long. Also, David Bar Chaim wears tefillin all day long, I believe. Rabbi Michael Baron.
It's complicated, but yes, it's possible. It's not that you need to be in a different level of spirituality or something like that. It's just a matter of knowing the laws, and that's it. Because you have to take it off when you go to the bathroom. You have to be careful. You have to be aware of this feeling. It's like crazy.
No, I mean, not if it's puzzle to film. You can walk in and say it's okay, it's puzzle. However, there is an issue of asking people on the street, "Do you want to put on tefillin?" That I've always been against, because it's another extreme. It's kind of, there's a halacha that in order to put on tefillin, that you need what's called a guf naki, which means like a clean body, but not necessarily. I mean, also clean thoughts, all of the above. The problem with Lubavitch, from this perspective, is that they don't care as long as you're Jewish. So you can't properly keep the mitzvot, like if you're not properly makabel the mitzvot. Like if you haven't accepted the commandments, if you're going to offer someone to put on tefillin, all they're doing is putting it on like a lucky charm. They've made the actual tefillin as a form of avodah zarah. And this is why there's like in the religious world, and most people don't know it because most people don't know much about Judaism, but people don't like other Orthodox groups don't like what Lubavitch does by putting tefillin on secular Jews in the street, like and thinking that they're accomplishing something. Because they believe, I mean, similar to what Kabbalah teaches, that intention ultimately doesn't matter, even when you get punished. But there's an Arizal that says that there are people in Gehinom right now who walked around on Shabas with sand in their sandals, right? That also, there's a story, I don't know if it was the Alter Rebbe who brought this down, that even if you eat halav stam, I guess in this case it was halav akum, accidentally, because there's a story about this guy who accidentally drank milk that wasn't kosher, and he began to doubt his faith.
You bring a hattas.
Yeah. So this is the basis of Kabbalah. It's completely irrational from the perspective of free will. The idea that God's going to punish you for what you did accidentally, it's like you didn't, I mean, it's, what do you call it, b'shogeg, right? I mean, you didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, but it's still b'shogeg. You will need to bring
a korban hatas. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, but that's not that God's punishing you, by the way, right?
No. But I mean, there's some sort of you doing something wrong. No b'shogeg itself, but meziv is like a little bit of meziv. It's like kemeziv. It's like someone that does something b'shogeg. There is a little bit of meziv there, so that's why you bring a hatas. Because if you're shogeg, it's because actually you're not paying attention. I mean, you should be paying attention.
All right. But there's an example in the Chumash of someone who's chopping wood, and the axe handle like falls off, and they're saying that the reason you have to bring a korban, this is why people say that we bring a sacrifice for unintentional sins, right? There's still a sacrifice. That doesn't mean that God punishes you, but he's saying that, you know what, you should have been more careful next time. Right. Now, clearly, it doesn't apply if it's not your fault completely. I mean, God would be a barbarian if he punishes you for things that it's ultimately really not your fault. I don't know. You're a victim of like stolen identity, and someone buys stuff with your credit card. It's like, well, yeah, better safe than sorry cannot be a principle in our religion, because then, well, I mean, that being said, most Jews, I would say, suffer from OCD with the excessive halachas that, I mean, they think they're halachas that they have to keep. But anyways, I guess we could do 4 more minutes of pill pull, and then yeah. So we went from Lubavitch to fill in candles. In Crown Heights, they stand in the corner. They give people candles if you're Jewish, but they ask if you're Jewish first, right?
Wow.
I don't separate the world between Jew and Gentile. What do you think about that, Moshe?
What? I'm so sorry, I didn't hear.
Do you think Jews who don't keep Torah nor care about keeping Torah should be given special treatment just because of the blood running through the veins? Here, check out this video I just put up. I debated this rabbi like 8 years ago, and I put a clip up on my channel on TikTok. It's called Bigotry and Kabbalah. How he specifically lays down what the Ramchal, like in Derech Hashem is not making this up, that if you have 2 babies in front of you and one is Jewish and the other one isn't, that Jewish baby has a greater soul and all this stuff. This is nothing new for those of us who know. But people always say that I lie when I tell people that we have a problem with Kabbalistic Judaism separating the world between Jew and Gentile instead of between Torah keepers and non-Torah keepers.
I agree with that.
All right, Evan, go ahead. Go ahead, Evan.
I'll let you finish your thought. I don't want to rush you.
All right. No, I'm done. It's because I have to go in a few minutes. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So I was reading Shulchan Aruch. It's the one that I don't know because I don't have the full version. I have the Kitzer version. I just wanted some clarification on chapter 3, subsection 2, where it talks about. I wrote it down. Where's it at? It's like where is it? Like you can't cut your hair the same way as a non-Jew, or do any traditions. Likewise, anything that non-Jews practice as a custom. Yeah. So, as far as I wear ball caps. Anybody wears ball caps, right? But that's tons of non-Jews do it. Is that an issue? How far does that go?
Okay, so don't think because you read something in Kitzer Shulchan Aruch that it's actually in the Shulchan Aruch. Kitzer Shulchan Aruch is a mixture of many different things. It was written by Rabbi Gansfried in the 16th century or something. So always verify to see if it appears in other areas. Because in terms of haircuts, for example, the halacha gives specific examples, like certain haircuts, like a galach, like how a priest would cut his hair. But regarding regular haircuts, the Rambam, I think, leaves it up to local custom. For example, even dyeing your hair, the Rambam says that you could dye your hair if it's the custom, if it's the local custom in your community to do so. Also, even wearing jewelry if it's the local custom. Now, the whole notion of what's called hukasakum is very subjective. Like the laws are resembling something that Gentiles do. It doesn't mean that only because a Gentile does something, you can't do it. It has to be specific in the Talmud of what they're talking about. Also, Morisayan is the same thing. Maritayan is not just if it looks like it. Morisayan is what the Talmud says Morisayan is. Morisayan is how they say you can't go into Denny's or McDonald's and buy a coffee, even though the coffee is kosher there, unless someone think that the hamburgers are kosher too. It would have to be laid down, and this is how Rabbi Soloveitchik brings down. It has to be laid down in the Talmud of what Morisayan is, or then it's never enough. For example, with the whole notion of something being Shabbastic and not Shabbastic, right? Or din lechol, whatever. It would have to actually give examples of what's not Shabbastic, or someone could be.
That's what you mean about the chol?
Yeah, or din lechol. Yeah, it's din lechol. So it's chol. It's like a common, mundane, that
weekly activity. It's a weekly activity.
Yeah, things that they would say is not Shabbastic, but it would have to give an example. It can't be, doing something fun for you, maybe boring for a rabbi, right? But nowadays, for example, there were videos that Rabbi Mizrahi started copying Armon Yitzhak. Remember?
At the end of the war guy.
Right. So Armon Yitzhak, what he used to do was get people up on stage and cut their ponytails off. Remember this?
Yeah.
Now there's no halakha not to have that prohibits you from having a ponytail. I get it. I don't like ponytails of guys either. But only because I don't like something, I can't prohibit it if the
Wait,
halakha
there's a
doesn't prohibit it.
halacha that says it's the oraita that a kohen cannot have
A
long
Cohen,
hair.
a Cohen for sure. I mean, a Cohen
Right.
can be too
And then-
tall, too
and
short,
then-
too dark, too white. For
Then
sure.
how do we have kohanim with payas?
There you go. Well, there's no halakha to have peyot, by the way. Peyot.
Right, but if you're a kohen, you have the oraita. You have the oraita law that says you cannot have long hair.
Right.
So now you're a kohen, you have payas. What are you doing? Because it's a custom. So now a custom is on top of the Torah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, real quick before you hop off, do you have like a good English, like normal Shulchan Aruch?
It doesn't exist.
No.
It doesn't exist. I translated with the first 30 chapters of Yoreh De'ah, like in Safari. It says like Asher Meza translation. The whole Shulchan Aruch is not translated into English. You believe that?
To be honest, it's the worst, right, Asher? It's the worst.
What, to translate?
No, to use the Shulchan Aruch as the...
It's identical to the Rambam. I mean, I translated Hilchos Shechita. It's the same crap. Most people don't know that Shulchan Aruch is 90% Rambam. Okay? 90%. And then it breaks the rules for the other 10% because it's also... You pick out of like the Rif and the Rosh, right? In the Rambam. And sometimes it just goes by the minority when... Look, the Rambam says that he could count on one hand on how many times he disagreed with the Rif, right? People nowadays don't go by Shulchan Aruch. If they only went by the Rambam, they would be going more by Shulchan Aruch than the people who claim to go by Shulchan Aruch nowadays. So I tell you to stick with Mishneh Torah, and assume it's in Shulchan Aruch. But a lot of Shulchan Aruch is translated. Orach Chaim is translated, right? I mean, the Mishnah Berurah is built off of it. Evan Hazer was just translated by the people in Sefaria. I would say maybe 25% of Yoreh De'ah is translated. Choshen Mishpat, I don't know, maybe 10% is translated. Yeah.
There's Orach Chaim is like the daily life.
Right.
Yeah.
So what would you say like the best English thing just to learn like halacha would be?
Mishnah
like,
Torah, and it's all in English in Chabad.org.
Mishnah Torah?
Mishnah Torah. And it covers everything because, I mean, even Shulchan Aruch is not complete. The Rama's Mishneh Torah is the only complete codification of Jewish law, the only one. And it's all in English. Thank for the people of Chabad who put it up there for free. For anyone, also you have Sefer Mitzvot, which is also the Rambam, right? Sefer Mitzvot to learn the Mitzvot in and out, right? The 613 commandments, and Mishneh Torah covers everything you'll ever need. If you master Mishneh Torah, you will know more than 99.9% of the rabbis alive. Okay? And you can read through it in 1 year. If you read 3 chapters a day, 3 years if you do 1 chapter a day.
Sound like Litvin now.
No, what are you talking about? I mean,
You're sending the guy to...
oh, right, to Chabad.org. No, Litvin would say, like,
So,
you never
what the-
scratch the surface of Torah.
There's a collection on, I know it's Art Scroll, but there's a collection of Art Scroll books called the Book of Mitzvot. So is
Yeah.
that any good or?
No, it's not the same thing. It's like a paraphrase of all these things. Mishneh Torah is, everyone will agree, it's the best code of Jewish law. And it's the only complete one that exists in any language. You master Mishneh Torah, you will know more than almost every rabbi. And I guarantee you that. Okay. Anyways, that being said, guys, have a good Shabbos. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom. Take care.
You can bench. Bye.